Of the previous section, we'll be showing creating a custom EC2 instance and how can we reach it from outside PC. So let me show you this diagram. So what we have created is a VPC and one subnet. So what we need to do is we'll be launching the one virtual machine and we will be creating our internet gateway, and from the external PC like my own laptop, how can we SSH to the new machine which we have launched. So as you can see, first we have created a VPC. So within the VPC you can't create any resources. You need one subnet. In the subnet only you can create your own resource. So how the communication happens from your PC to the virtual machine which was launched inside your private custom network, how the traffic flows. So if I try to SSH from my laptop, so first it will reach internet gateway. From internet gateway it should reach the virtual machine. Before it reaches to my machine, we have some security points under AWS. So those are, one is NACL and another one is security group. So under virtual machine level we have a protection called security group. Under subnet level we have a protection that is NACL. So we already have our VPC and subnet. We will be going to create our virtual machine and internet gateway. So if we create our internet gateway and virtual machine, we also have a one more thing called route table. In our route table we will define how the from your virtual machine, if you want to reach outside internet, you need to give a path how it should reach the internet. So that will be provided in the route table. So let's start creating the virtual machine. So I open my EC2 console. I have selected my region as Paris. Launch instance. So I'll be using a pre-tier eligible instance. I will select a Windows machine. So T2.micro is a pre-tier eligible, so I'll take pre-tier. So as you can see here, I'm going to launch only one instance. So number of instances 1. Purchase option, request for spot instance. I'm going to use on-demand instance only. So I'm not going to select that. Network, under which VPC we are going to launch it. We have only one VPC, my custom VPC, and I have created only one subnet, so showing only one. Auto assign public IP. As you can see, our VPC CID ranges is private IP range. So if you want a public IP, then you should use auto assign public IP as enable. So it will create one public IP for you to use. Other things I'm going to keep it as default. Next, add storage. So as I selected Windows machine, the default volume size is 30 GB. So I'll go with the default, and volume type is general purpose. We have many other volume types: GP2, GP3, provisioned IOPS. Under volume section, you can find many more options. So I'm going with the general purpose only. Next, let's go for tags, security groups. We already have in our default security group, so I'll be using my default security group, which allows all inbound and outbound traffics. Review and launch. So before launching, just check your instance. Windows pre-tier, t2.micro security group. Okay, we launch it. It will ask you to create a key pair. If you already have a key pair, you can select a key pair. If you don't want a key pair, proceed with the key pair. I want my key pair, so I'm going to create a new key pair. This will take some time to come online. You can see our instant ID has been already created. Instance state is pending. Type, you can select under details section. You can see all the details. Instance state should be 2x2. It should pass all the status checks and it should be running. Then only we can able to use the instance. Under details section, if you can see, we have a private IPv4 address and a public IPv4 address. So whenever you launch instance, you will be provided with a private IP. As we have selected a public IP enable, so it got created one more public IP. Under security, you can see we have not selected any IAM role. You can see this available security group which have been selected by you. You have selected our default security group. Under networking, which VPC, under which subnet it has been launched, those details you can see. Under network interface, you can see the public IP address and the private IP address. Under storage section, the volume which we have selected will be shown. By default, the root device will be /device/sd1. So you can able to add a few more EBS volumes to single instance. As we have selected only one, you can see only one volume available. By default, monitoring is enabled, and it's you can see the logs in the CloudWatch. So by default, monitoring is enabled for 5 minutes basis. So if you enable detailed monitoring, then it will do the monitoring for per minute basis, but that involves extra cost. So instance state is running. Status check. It's not 2x2. Let's wait. Okay, it's now 2x2. So as this is a Windows, now let's try to connect it via RDP. Okay, we have been facing issue connecting to the EC2 instance. So if you see our connection, how the connection should flow. So we have created our internet gateway and we have attached our VPC. Now let's go to route table and edit the route. This is our default route. Edit. So you can see only our local route has been present, meaning only communication within the VPC is possible. We want to try to, we should able to reach our instance from the outside. So I will be adding a route. So all the destination should be anywhere and my target will be internet gateway. Save. Now our setup is done. Let me try with my public IP. And username must be administrator. So if you want to connect, before connecting, as is a Windows instance, you need to get the Windows password. To get the password, select the instance, action, security, get Windows password. It will ask for the key which you have downloaded during the provision. Upload the key, then if you decrypt the password, you will get the password. I have done it already. So let me try to connect. This is my public IP. Username is administrator. Connect. Okay. We are successfully connected to the instance. On the right side top, you can see the instance IP, hostname, and the specification of the instance. So let me close it. Okay. You can able to reach the instance with your public and private IP. Both IP will be reachable. As we have tested it now, this is best practice. I'm going to remove the resources which I have created as I no longer require this. It will take few minutes to terminate.